time has come to start the first session of the race weekend. It's practice for the Malaysia Grand Prix. So after the first race, how do you think this season will compare to previous years?
Well, I hope that we're in for a fantastic season. The Mercedes team have certainly come out of pre-season testing the strongest, which is all well and good, but it's the racing where the pace really counts. It's always difficult to predict, therefore, who's going to come out on top.
The new regulations for this year say goodbye to the somewhat unique nose designs that we saw on the 2014 cars.
The 2014 changes were brought in to promote safety, but I don't think it was anticipated how the teams would exploit the regulations. This year, those regulations have been tightened up to give us a more traditional look to the noses on the 2015 cars.
Hello guys, and welcome to round 3 of our career mode. We're in China now, just in practice, trying to do a few laps under our belt. But we're just looking forward to qualifying, but I think it's going to be a wet session. So let's get into qualifying.
It's Nico Rosberg who's been fastest today, but it's only practice. He'll be wanting to repeat that pace tomorrow when it comes to qualifying. And welcome to Malaysia as we head into the all-important qualifying session. The drivers are raring to go, and we're just waiting for the lights to go green to signify the start of the qualifying hour. Well, the weather's certainly going to cause a few problems for the drivers here in Malaysia. It's currently raining, and we could see some teams struggling to get the best out of their cars today in what are really difficult conditions.
Well, it will certainly have an impact on today's qualifying. And some drivers are natural in the wet, but others might not be looking forward to getting out on track and having to tiptoe their way around.
As we're in qualifying now, and we're just waiting to go on track in this full wet session. As I'm not looking forward to this, but let's give it a go. As we're coming to the end of our lap now, we only did one lap to save the tyres for the race, as it's going to be wet also. Going to come around the last corner now, try and get that earlier on the power as early as possible. Trying to get no wheel spin, shift up gears, cross the line. We've done a 40, I can't see on the previous screen, but we're in pole position by now. So let's see if we got that in the bag.
That's the end of qualifying, and it's Kimi who takes the top spot for tomorrow's race.
He's certainly going to be leading the charge from the front. And if he can get through the first couple of laps without any issues, he could be difficult to beat based on today's performance.
Good afternoon and welcome from Sepang for what is going to be a fascinating race. It's the Malaysia Grand Prix. The man with everything to play for today is Kimi Räikkönen. He starts in P1 and will need all his fabled coolness in order to keep things from boiling over into turn 1.
He'll want to stay out of trouble over the first few laps, but he'll be determined not to let any cars past him. If he can maintain that position once everything's settled down, he'll have a massive advantage and be able to control the race.
Nico won the last race with a performance that Toto Wolff called a drive of true class. He seems really at home in this Mercedes team, and it's from that platform that he's able to put in these great performances.
Nico certainly had the edge over Lewis last time out, and he'll want to put one over on his teammate again today. Don't underestimate the mind games that are going on between these pair as they battle it out for supremacy.
We're on the grid for the Malaysian Grand Prix. Just waiting for the race to start now, as we are about to. We need to win this race because we're on pole and the lights going out. We have started in this race. We've got an all right start with a bit of wheel spin, but Ricciardo is actually in second place, which was a bit of a surprise. But we've held the lead so far as our teammates can go up the inside. Nearly collided with him as we're going to hug it around the inside, and for turn 2 we're going to steam on the inside as well, as we're going to get nice traction. There was actually pulled off a bit, but we're going to get on the curb a bit, and we nearly just thrown our race away. Nearly. But if we want to win this race, guys, we want it to dry up at the end of the stint. To be honest, the first stint we need it to dry up to have any chance of winning this race, because we actually had some wet practice on Friday at the end of the session. I was nowhere. I did some long runs. I was nowhere. This year, like the Mercedes was like 2 seconds quicker than me. But I don't know what fuel they're running. But we have a nice start now. We have a nice gap to our teammate Vettel. As we're coming on into lap 3 now, we're gone purple actually. I don't know. Hamilton's gone purple. So yeah, we've got a nice calm little lead. We've gone too deep into turn 1, and we've lost the lead to Vettel, my teammate, and Rosberg's on the outside of us. We're going to go the inside of him and get the second place back. I'm going to squeeze him out on the exit and nearly throw out race again out there. But not the greatest start to this race, but we need it to dry up to have any chance of actually getting a podium or winning. But still in P2 as we lost the lead to Vettel in that first corner. Just running too deep, getting too confident. As we're still ahead of Rosberg, and we're just hoping to catch up Vettel, who seems to be pulling a gap now. We're just struggling. We're just pushing too hard in these conditions. As we're just we're correcting the car like 24/7 here. As we're coming in the last sector now, we have still in second place. As Rosberg's actually going to go up inside now. He's going inside and he's taken us out. He's taken us out. Rosberg's taken us out. Can you believe that? He's actually taken us out. As we're actually going to go lock on board with Hamilton now. He just goes into us. He takes us out. Hamilton actually makes the contact between. Oh my God! Hamilton gets the worst out of that. So yeah, Rosberg slows down because he took me out, and Hamilton went straight past into Rosberg. That was just weird. We're going side by side now with the Lotus, and he gets a tap from the Toro Rosso. See, he's getting the tap from Toro Rosso. Now he gets a tap from the Toro Rosso. We're just seeing replays of this. 3 wide into the last corner. Toro Rosso gets into the Lotus side pod, and he collects us. Can you believe that? We've been taken out in a matter of 2 corners. These AI today, what is going on? He gets on his side pod, then watch it for ours. He loses the back end. We're just on his lane. I can't believe what we're seeing here. We've been taken out in a matter of 2 corners on the same lap. Can you believe that? We're in 15th now. We're going to go up and the manner of Will Stevens. Got a Kona on our front wing. So yeah, we were in first place. Now we're in 14th after 4 laps. As we come on to lap 10 now, we're going to catch Button. And we're going to get into turn 1 hopefully. But we locked up. No, we didn't lock up. Just went too deep and hit Button. Surprisingly, he didn't spin out. Luckily, we didn't get a penalty. We just got a warning. But Rosberg is right behind us now. I don't know why Rosberg actually. Why Rosberg got away with that? That was surprising. To see Rosberg behind us. But we've lost the back end now. And Rosberg's going to charge up the inside. He's taking us out again. Rosberg has taken us out for the 2nd time in this race. Can you believe that? Rosberg has a thing with us. He doesn't like us. He has taken us out twice this race. I am so done. But we'll come on to lap 12 now. Still in we're back to 14th place. But we're going to come into the pits for some new tyres. We're going to get some full wet tyres again, because I think it's actually going to dry up to intermediate soon. But I don't want to stay on these tyres that long, because they were going off because we spun out twice, like 3 times actually. So they're pretty worn out. And what a stop. 2.4 seconds thanks Ferrari, but I wish for like 2.0. But as lap 12 now, Merry's going very slowly through this right-hander. as we're going to go steaming at the inside easily, because that man is just really a crap car. As we're on lap 15 now, and loads of cars in the pits. We're going to jump loads of cars, and the Button's actually jumped us, even though he's in a slower McLaren. But we're going to check on the inside. He's on the intermediates, guys. So I was actually fine on these wets until Button's on the intermediates, and Button spun out. Button has spun out. We didn't even touch him. So yeah, he made a very bad call to go on the intermediates, because we never touched him. I think he just lost the back end because he's on the intermediates. The track is still wet, and a few laps later we're going to come onto the intermediates now. So the track is drying up, and only for damp track conditions. We're going to stay on the racing line, hopefully, because we're on P13 now at 14, and there's a ton of cars behind us. Who's that? That's Hamilton. Hamilton's in 14th place, as Stevens is actually going to go up the inside of us, but he loses it to Ricciardo. As on lap 25 now, we're going to come in for a 3-lap sprint to the finish on dry tyres. We get held up in the pits by Kvyat, a 3.5 stop, which isn't the best. Kvyat actually jumps us, so that's not the best. Pit stop, guys. So we need to jump Kvyat again, as we're going to stay on his back tail here, as we're going to go up the inside of him. And the track is still kind of damp, but we're going to stay on the racing line. That is basically really dry. And lap 27, Button, no, that's Ricciardo, and Hamilton going very slowly, so he's collided with another car. I don't know who, but we have got 4th place in this race, guys. We were stone dead last after a couple of laps, but we're 4th place after a miracle drive. We're 4th placed after it dried up. So if it never dried up, we'll probably never be in the points. Probably, I'm not sure. But coming on to the last lap now. On the last lap, 4th place, and after pole position, I want to forget about this race, to be honest. But 4th place, I'll take that after the horrible first stint we had with all those AI cars taking us out.
So Sebastian Vettel takes the win after an imperious drive today. It was a well-deserved victory as well for the German driver.
Yes, definitely. It was a brilliant race, and one that you can tell the fans really enjoyed.
After all that excitement, it's time for a lie down, I think. Thanks for joining us, and goodbye until the next race.